Hello everybody and welcome to the East Shore Wiffle Ball League. The matchup that you're about to see is between the Agents and the Crawdads. This is actually our very first matchup of the 2024 season, and it's a super interesting one because the Crawdads were the winner of the Summer 2023 Susquehanna Series, but the Agents were the winner of the Fall 2023 Susquehanna Series. So this is going to be interesting to see how they face off, seeing the two champions of last year going at it. So before we begin, let's take a look at their rosters. So for the Agents, we have Captain Derek Winston, Joe Walters, Joe Bass, and Brian Stevens. For the Crawdads, we have Captain Eric Crawford, Brian Crawford, Mike Giesman, Michael Giesman, and Jackson Weber. Let's get right on into the action.
All right, here we have the first at-bat of the 2024 season as Derek Winston's facing off against Eric Crawford on the mound, and the first pitch we see is a ball. The next pitch to Derek, high drive, left field, Michael Giesman tracking it, and he catches it in foul territory for the first out. Joe Walters up to the plate now, and he drives it high, deep right center field, and that's the first home run of the season, as now the score is 1-0. As Joe Bass watches strike three as we hear the ting on the strike zone for the second out. Derek, line drive center field off the base of the fence, and that's just going to be a long two-out single for Derek. As now Joe Walters back up to the plate as he drives it right field. That ball's gone. Another home run for Joe Walters as now the score is 3-0. Joe Bass back up to the plate, and he swings and misses for the third out of the inning. That is the end of the top of the first. We're going to be heading into the bottom of the first as Brian Crawford leading off against Derek Winston as he hits a ground ball to the left side, and that's going to be a single for Brian to lead off the bottom of the first. Michael Giesman up to the plate as he hits a ball over the right side. Joe not able to have a play as now we have a man on first and second. Mike Giesman now, ground ball, left side, as Derek grabs it, he goes, pegs Brian, but was it in time? Let's check an instant replay as Derek just hits him too late, as we can see Brian's foot is on the bag, so he's going to be safe. Bases loaded with Eric Crawford, ground ball up the middle, one run's going to score, and two runs are going to score, as now the score is 3-2. Brian Crawford up to the plate, ground ball, and Joe throws it at Mike Giesman, and he's saying that it hit him on the leg. Let's see an instant replay of that one as well, as he slides, and it looks like it does just clip the right side of his leg for the second out. Michael Giesman up to the plate, line drive up the middle. Eric Crawford rounding third on his way home, and we are going to have a tie ball game. As the score is now 3-3, Mike Giesman back up to the plate as he lines it left field. That ball's gone. Mike Giesman with a home run. Oh, and he falls at first base. Sniper. Oh my, we gotta see an instant replay of that one as he just slips there on the bag and just completely wipes out, his feet flying in the air, and lays there dead for a little bit, but it looks like he's good as he's on the mound here facing against Derek Winston, as Derek's going to hit a line drive up the middle for a lead-off single here in the top of the second. And now Joe Walters with a check swing, and it ends up fair down that first base line, so now we're going to have a man on first and second. Now Joe Bass watching ball four as now the bases are loaded. Derek stepping back up to the plate as he lines it, and it's going to roll up against the wall as one run's going to score and two runs are going to score. Derek rounds first in, and Mike makes an amazing play. Let's watch an instant replay as Derek tried to take second, accidentally slips, and Mike recognizes that and pegs Derek right in the foot for the first out of the inning. Joe Walters up to the plate here with a man on second as he watches strike three. Great pitch by Mike Giesman for the second out of the inning. Joe Bass up to the plate as he swings and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Mike Giesman on the mound, as now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the second. Eric Crawford leading off here as he drives it left field. Caught by Joe right at the warning track for the first out of the inning. Brian Crawford up to the plate as he swings and misses at a nice pitch by Derek. And now Michael Giesman up to the plate. He rakes it off the wall for a long single. And now Mike Giesman up to the plate here with 2 outs as he pops it up, and it looks like this is going to be the 3rd out as Derek drops it. As now, off that error, we're going to have a man on first and second. Eric Crawford up to the plate, and it takes the back of his bat. He's running down the first. Derek throws it, misses him. And Michael's rounding third on his way home, and he's going to score, and we're going to have a man on first and third. But let's take a moment to look at a replay of that swing, or lack of swing, I should say, as Eric tried to duck the ball, but he didn't get his bat down, and somehow it went fair. What a crazy play. As now Brian Crawford up to the plate, ground ball back to Derek. Derek's just gonna get it himself as he runs the first for the 3rd out of the inning. Now we're heading to the top of the 3rd. Agents need 2 to tie to stay in this one and 3 to take the lead, as we're going to see Michael Giesman now on the mound as Derek drive to center. Good catch by Eric Crawford, as let's take a replay of that one too. He tracked that pretty well up against the fence. That can be a hard play to make in wiffle ball, especially up against the fence like that, but he secures it for the 1st out. Joe Walters up to the plate as he hits a ground ball up the middle, and that's going to be a single. As now we're going to have a man on first. Joe Bass up to the plate, and he hits it left side, and Eric's not going to have a play, as now we're going to have a man on first and second with Derek stepping to the plate here. Derek, line drive up the middle. Eric Crawford grabs, he dives into the second base bag for the 2nd out of the inning. Great play by Eric Crawford. Let's take an instant replay of that as he sacrifices his body and a full out dive to second base to secure that 2nd out, but a run will score. As Joe is their final hope here as he hits a ground ball back to Michael. Michael throws it at Joe. He misses him. Joe jumped over the ball as now Derek's rounding third on his way home. Michael tries to throw it home, and it's an overthrow. And Joe is going to score as well, as the Little League inside the park home run is accomplished. And now the score is 8-7. With the Agents taking the lead now. Joe Bass up to the plate now, and it's a high drive, deep left field. That bat is gone. Let's see an instant replay of that one, as the bat went way farther than the ball on that one, and it clears the fence for a bat home run. That might be actually our first bat home run. That was pretty crazy. As now the next pitch we see the Joe Bass here is ball 4, as he's gonna get a walk. Now we have a man on first. Derek Winston up to the plate, and he drives it left field. That ball's gone. A 2-run home run for Derek Winston, as now the score is 10-7. The Agents able to add a little bit of insurance there to their lead. As now Joe Walters up to the plate, and he hits a ground ball right side. Michael's going to sprint, and he tags first base. Great play. Let's look at an instant replay of that one. There's been a lot of great plays in this game so far, as Michael going, sliding into first base and grabbing the ball at the same time for the 3rd out of the inning. The Crawdads need 3 to tie and 4 the win, as Michael Giesman hits a ground ball to the right side, and that's just fair, as that's going to be the 1st out of the inning. Now Mike Giesman up to the plate, and he watches ball 4. Now we have a man on first base. Eric Crawford up to the plate as he watches ball 4. Now we have a man on first and second. Brian Crawford up to the plate as he watches strike 3 on a great curveball by Derek for the 2nd out of the inning. Michael Giesman up to the plate now as he swings and misses for the final out of the game. The Agents win 10-7, securing the first win of the 2024 season after their huge comeback in the top of the 1st. Now, on to game number 2 as Brian Crawford faces off against Derek Winston as he's going to hit a line drive up the middle for a lead-off single. As now, Joe Walters up to the plate as he hits a ground ball to the right side. Mike Giesman has it, flips it to Brian, but not in time, as Derek's going to be aggressive and head over to third base. As now we have a man on first and third. Joe Bass up to the plate. High drive, left center field. Michael catching it at the warning track, tries to throw it home, but it doesn't make it home in time as Derek is going to score. The score is now 1-0 as Derek up to the plate. High drive, left center field. That ball is going to be gone. A 2-run home run for Derek Winston is now the score is 3-0. Now, Joe Walters up to the plate as he hits it right field. That's an Oppo Taco home run for Joe Walters. Back-to-back home runs. As now, Joe Bass striking out there for the 2nd out of the inning. Derek Winston up, pops it up, Center field, Michael securing it for the third out of the inning, as now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the first. The score is 4-0. As we see Brian Crawford leading off against Joe Walters on the mound, as Brian hits a ground ball to the left side. Joe throws it over the first. It bounces, but they are able to get Brian out in time. Michael up to the plate now as he swings and ticks it in the zone for the second out of the inning. Mike Giesman now up to the plate as he swings and misses on a nice pitch from Joe Walters for the third out of the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Joe Walters, as now we're heading into the top of the second. Eric Crawford on the mound now as Joe just pops it up to Eric for the first out of the top of the second. Joe Bass up to the plate, line drive, left side, gets down, and Mike, good throw by Mike. Like, he whipped that over pretty quick, but it was too high and Brian couldn't grab it. So, actually, Joe's going to be at second, not third base. As now, Derek Winston up to the plate, ground ball, left side. And Mike tries to hit Joe, misses him. And Derek's going to be aggressive and end up at second, as now we have a man on second and third as Joe Walters, ground ball up the middle. Brian's not going to have a play as a run is going to score. And we're going to have a man on first and third, as now Joe Bass up to the plate, swing and missing for strike number 3, as now Derek Winston up to the plate as he hits a ground ball back to Eric. Eric tries to hit Derek. It flies out of play as now a run is going to score, and now we have a man on second and third. Joe Walters watching ball 4, and now the bases are going to be loaded. The score is 6-0. Joe Bass, ground ball. Eric Crawford slips, and Joe's jumped to try and avoid a throw, but Eric slips, so now the bases stay loaded. Now Derek hits a pop-up to the right side. Brian Crawford not able to get there, but the bag slips away, and Brian dives at where the bag is. And that was a very weird play. Let's take an instant replay here because Joe accidentally slipped, and the first base went flying. And technically, Derek would have been safe. But they're going to call it out number 3 as now we're heading into the bottom of the second. Eric Crawford leading off here as he swings and misses at a great pitch by Joe for the first out of the inning. Brian Crawford up to the plate now as he swings and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts there to start the inning. Now Michael Giesman up to the plate as he swings and misses, and Joe Walters strikes out the side. That is 6 straight outs for Joe as he is on the verge of a perfect game. As we're heading into the top of the third, Mike Giesman on the mound against Joe. Joe drives it right field. Eric Crawford securing it near the fence there for the first out of the inning. Joe Bass up to the plate as he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. Derek up to the plate now as he hits a ground ball to the left side. Michael not going to have a play as he just throws it back to the pitcher. And now Joe up to the plate here as he hits it. Line drive, center field. That ball's gone. That thing just carried out of here as now the score is 9-0. And now Joe Bass stepping to the plate here as he watches strike 3 for the third out of the inning. The Crawdads need 9 to tie and 10 to win, but Joe on the verge of a perfect game as Mike Giesman swing and missing. Joe 2 outs away here as now Eric Crawford up to the plate as he hits a ground ball back to Joe. Joe's just going to throw it to first for the second out of the inning. He is 1 out away from a perfect game. Brian Crawford up to the plate. He swings and misses. The first ever perfect game on record for the East Shore Wiffle Ball League. Congratulations to Joe Walters on such an amazing accomplishment as the Agents win 9-0, and now we're going to be heading into game number 3. Eric Crawford on the mound here. Derek Winston leading it off as he hits a line drive off the fence. That looked like it was going to get out, but it just didn't have enough as it hits off the fence as Derek's going to get a leadoff single. Joe Walters up to the plate. Eric Crawford has the ball, and he's just going to tag Joe, and Derek's going to be aggressive and end up on third, but we do have 1 out. As now Joe Bass up to the plate here as he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. Derek up to the plate now as he hits a pop-up, and Michael not able to grab it, and Joe is going to score as now the score is 1-0 here in game number 3. Joe Walters up to the plate as he hits a ground ball back up the middle. Eric bobbling it, not going to have a play as now we have a man on first and second here with 2 outs. Joe Bass up to the plate as he pops it up, and Michael's going to secure it in center field for the third out of the inning. Now on to the bottom of the first. Eric Crawford leading off. Joe Walters back on the mound after his perfect game, as Joe's going to walk Eric Crawford here, and no perfect game for Joe this game as there was already a walk. And now Michael Giesman up to the plate, and he swings and misses for the first out of the inning. Mike Giesman now up to the plate as he hits a ground ball down the third base line. That's going to be a fair ball, as now we're going to have a man on first and second. Brian Crawford up to the plate as he hits it, and it's going to get down, and the bases are going to be loaded as that ended up in no man's land, as now Eric Crawford up to the plate with bases loaded, and he drives it left field off the fence as 1 run's going to score and 2 runs are going to score, and the Crawdads are going to take the lead here 1-2. Michael Giesman now up to the plate as he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. Mike Giesman up to the plate as he hits a ground ball left side. Joe has it, misses Brian as the bases are going to be loaded. Eric Crawford up to the plate now as he watches ball 4, and that's going to walk home a run, as now the score is 1-3 with Brian Crawford up to the plate now. Brian drives it left field. That ball is off the base of the wall. I thought that one might have been gone, but 2 runs are going to score. Great hit by Brian, and after those 2 runs scoring, that's going to be our 5-run inning mercy rule, as now we're heading to the top of the second. Derek going to hit a ground ball to the left side for a leadoff single here, as now Joe up to the plate, and Joe watches ball 4, and now we have a man on first and second. Joe Bass up to the plate, watching strike 3 from a little sidearm action by Eric Crawford for the first out of the inning. Derek Winston hits it, line drive left field, that ball's gone. A 3-run home run for Derek Winston, as now the score is 4-5. Joe Walters up to the plate now as he hits a line drive up the middle, and that's just going to be a single here for Joe. Now Joe Bass up to the plate, and he hits it left field. That's going to be a fair ball, as it looks like it hit that white line, as now we're going to have a man on first and second. Derek Winston up to the plate now as he hits a ground ball right side. Brian Crawford not going to have a play. No, he tries to throw it to Derek, and it gets away, and a run's going to score, as now the score is tied up 5-5 with a man on second and third. And Joe Walters going to watch ball 4, and now the bases are loaded with Joe Bass watching strike 3 for the second out of the inning. The bases are still loaded here with the game tied at 5-5. Derek up to the plate, high drive, right center field, that ball's gone. A grand slam for Derek Winston, and now the score is 9-5, and that's going to be our 5-run inning mercy rule, as now we're heading to the bottom of the second. Michael Giesman leading off, a little chop swing for a strikeout. Now Mike Giesman up to the plate, and he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. Brian Crawford up to the plate now, and he pops it up, and Joe's going to secure it for the third out of the inning. A 1-2-3 inning there for Joe, as we're going to be heading into the top of the third. Mike Giesman on the mound here as Joe pops it up to the right side. Michael going to secure it for the first out of the inning. Joe Bass up to the plate now as he watches strike 3. It just nips the zone for the second out. Derek Winston now up to the plate. High drive center field. That ball's gone. Another home run for Derek Winston, as now the score is 10-5. Joe Walters up to the plate as he watches ball 4, and we have a man on first. He didn't know it was ball 4, though, but it was ball 4. As now Joe Bass up to the plate here, and he watches ball 4, and it looks like he doesn't know it's ball 4 either. We just don't know when walks are happening, I guess. As now Derek stepping to the plate, and he hits a ground ball left side. Brian not going to have a play. Joe's going to be aggressive, round third, and score, as now the score is 11-5. Joe Walters back up to the plate now as he drives it center field. That ball's gone, and Michael does an acrobatic flip over the net. That was actually pretty cool. Let's see an instant replay of that, as he does like a little like hand. What do they call those things? I don't. Maybe a cartwheel. I guess he did a cartwheel, but that ball is gone. It is now 14-5. as now Joe Bass up to the plate, and he's going to swing and miss for the 3rd out of the inning. The Crawdads now need 9 to tie and 10 to win, as now Eric Crawford leading it off, and he's going to watch ball 4, as now that's a leadoff walk. Michael Giesman up to the plate, and he swings and misses a pitch way out of the zone for the 1st out of the inning. And now Mike Giesman up to the plate as he hits a ground ball to the right side, and they're going to tag Eric for the 2nd out of the inning. And now Brian Crawford, the last chance here for the Crawdads, as he swings and misses, and that's the end of game number 3. The Agents win 14-5 as they sweep the Crawdads here to go 3-0 to start the season. That is the end of today's action. We hope to see you around next time.